You saw the post. Maybe it was a tweet. Maybe it was a YouTube comment. Maybe it was a personal finance influencer in a clean white kitchen telling you, with genuine concern in their voice and a ring light hitting their cheekbones perfectly, that if you don't have $10,000 saved by your mid-20s, you are behind, dangerously behind. The kind of behind that compounds. And you felt it. That specific, cold drop in your stomach. Not quite shame, not quite anger. The particular feeling of being evaluated against a standard you were never told about until someone was already using it to grade you. $10,000. Just sitting there. Liquid. Available. In an account somewhere, as if that is a sentence that makes frictionless sense for the majority of working Americans in 2026. Here is the actual reality. 63% of Americans cannot cover a $1,000 emergency from savings. Not 10,000. 1,000. The median savings balance for Americans under 35 is approximately $3,800, and that median is pulled upward by a small number of high balances at the top. The true middle, the person who is most statistically representative of your actual peer group, has significantly less than that. The $10,000 benchmark is not a neutral financial milestone. It is a class marker dressed as financial advice, and the shame attached to not hitting it is doing far more damage to your financial life than your actual savings balance ever could. My name is Mia. I spent years inside financial services watching benchmarks like this get manufactured, distributed, and monetized, and watching the shame they produced get converted into courses, products, and premium app subscriptions sold to the exact people the benchmark was designed to make feel inadequate. Today, I am dismantling it, completely, with the actual numbers, where the $10,000 number came from. Let me tell you what $10,000 in savings actually represents historically. In the 1980s, the average annual household income in America was approximately $21,000. $10,000 represented roughly 47% of annual household income, a genuinely substantial savings cushion that took years of consistent discipline to accumulate. In 2026, the median individual income for workers under 35 sits at approximately $42,000 after taxes and benefits extraction. $10,000 now represents approximately 23% of annual take-home. Still meaningful, but a dramatically different ask than the historical benchmark it evolved from. Except the cost of building it hasn't gotten easier. It has gotten structurally harder. Rent as a percentage of income for workers under 35 has increased from approximately 22% in 2000 to approximately 34% today. Student loan debt carried by workers under 35 averages $37,000, a monthly payment obligation that did not exist at current scales for previous generations. Entry-level wages have grown at approximately half the rate of entry-level housing costs since 2010. The $10,000 benchmark was achievable with genuine discipline but without structural impossibility for a generation that graduated without debt into a housing market that consumed a fifth of their income rather than a third. For you, in 2026, hitting it requires not just discipline but the kind of structural margin that the current economy does not distribute equally. And the influencer in the white kitchen almost certainly has either inherited wealth, a dual income, a below-market rent situation, or some combination of the three that they are not disclosing in the video where they tell you that you should have this figured out by now. What the shame actually costs you here is the part nobody in the financial content space will say directly because it disrupts the product funnel. Financial shame is not a motivator, it is a paralytic. The research on this is not ambiguous. Studies in behavioral economics consistently show that shame-based financial messaging, you are behind, you are failing, you don't have enough, produces one of two responses: avoidance or panic spending. Neither of them build savings. Avoidance looks like closing the budgeting app because the numbers feel too bad to look at. Stopping the automatic transfer because it feels futile against the size of the gap. Mentally categorizing yourself as someone who is bad with money. And then, because identity drives behavior, acting accordingly. Panic spending looks like the purchase that happens immediately after you've calculated how far behind you are. The psychological mechanism is called what the hell effect once you've violated the standard enough that recovery feels impossible. The restraint that was protecting the small progress you had made collapses entirely. The $10,000 benchmark, deployed as shame, does not produce $10,000 savings accounts. It produces avoidance, paralysis, and the specific kind of financial nihilism that keeps people from starting because starting with $300 feels like an insult to the gap. They know this. The shame is not an accidental byproduct of the content. It is the distribution mechanism for the solution they're about to sell you. What the actual goal is at each stage, let me give you the real benchmarks. The one size to actual modern financial risk rather than aspirational content performance. The first goal is not $10,000. The first goal is $1,000. $1,000 is the number that converts the most common financial emergencies: the car repair, the medical copay, the appliance failure, from credit card debt events into solved problems. $1,000 is achievable on almost any income with a specific short-term behavioral focus. And $1,000 changes the cost of your next emergency from 22% interest to zero. That is not a small thing dressed as a small number. The second goal is 1 month of expenses. Not 3, not 6, 1, because 1 month means the next disruption, the reduced hours, the missed shift, the unexpected bill, does not immediately cascade into borrowing. 1 month of expenses is your first real structural floor. It is what makes the next decision from a position of something rather than nothing. The third goal is 3 months. This is where the job loss scenario becomes survivable without immediate credit card deployment. This is the stage where you have bought yourself decision-making time, the ability to not take the first offer out of desperation. The fourth goal, and yes, eventually, this is where $10,000 may live, is 5 to 6 months of expenses in a high-yield savings account earning real interest. For many households, this is $10,000. For some, it is more. For some, it is less. The number is not the benchmark. The coverage is. Notice what is absent from that sequence: shame, comparison, the performance of financial adequacy for an audience that is also performing. The path from where you actually are here is the move, not the aspirational one, the real one. If you have less than $1,000 saved right now, that is the only number that matters this month, not 10,000, 1,000. Find the one recurring charge you forgot about, the subscription, the auto renewal, the gym membership with the complicated cancellation process, and redirect it. Find the one category where your spending is social performance rather than genuine value and redirect it. $100 a month reaches $1,000 in 10 months. At a high-yield savings account rate of 4.7%, it gets there slightly faster. When $1,000 exists, you do not upgrade your lifestyle. You do not celebrate with a dinner that costs $140. You recalibrate the automatic transfer slightly upward and move toward 1 month of expenses. The same mechanism, the same account, the same patience. That is it. That is the whole unglamorous, unsponsored, unring-lit truth. You are not building toward a benchmark that makes you look winning in a comment section. You are building toward a margin that makes your real life survivable, and then functional, and then, eventually, genuinely free. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not the cautionary tale the content creator needed to make their course look necessary. You are a person operating in a structural environment that has made the first $1,000 harder to save than any previous generation has faced. And you are doing it without the inherited wealth, the below-market rent, or the dual income that the people benchmarking you are very carefully not mentioning. You've just been reading a map drawn by the people who want you lost. Hit subscribe, because next week I am going inside the investment content industrial complex, the you should be in the market already shame machine, and showing you what they're selling underneath the urgency. And I'll leave you with this: $10,000 is not the goal. $1,000, real, liquid, yours, is the goal. Start there, not because it's enough, because it's the first number that makes the next number possible.